bought the old Victorian house on Maple Street. Everyone thought I was making a mistake. The house had been empty for years. The paint was peeling from the walls. Weeds covered the front yard, and the wooden porch looked like it could collapse at any moment. Most people saw an abandoned building, but I saw a chance to start over. At 32, my life was falling apart. A painful divorce had left me emotionally exhausted, and I needed a fresh beginning. Something about the old house spoke to me. Maybe it was a history hidden within its walls, or maybe it was because I felt just as broken as the house itself. The first few weeks were spent cleaning and repairing. Every room seemed frozen in time. Dust-covered old furniture and forgotten photographs were tucked away in drawers. I often wondered about the families who had lived there before me. One rainy Saturday morning, I was working in an upstairs bedroom. The wallpaper was old and damaged, so I started pulling it down. As I scraped away another section, I noticed something strange. Part of the wall sounded hollow. Curious, I knocked again. The sound was different from the rest of the wall. My heart started racing. I grabbed a screwdriver and carefully loosened a wooden panel hidden behind the wallpaper. As the panel moved, years of dust drifted into the air. Behind it was a small secret compartment. Inside sat a faded leather diary tied with a blue ribbon. It looked incredibly old. With trembling hands, I picked it up and gently brushed away the dust. Written on the cover were just two words: Emily, 1954. I carried the diary downstairs and sat near the living room window, while rain tapped softly against the glass. For a moment, I hesitated. Reading someone else's diary felt wrong, but curiosity won. I slowly opened the first page. The handwriting was neat and elegant. The opening entry described a young woman named Emily, her family, and her dreams for the future. Then one name appeared: James. And as I continued reading, I realized I had just discovered the beginning of a love story hidden for more than 40 years. I turned the page and continued reading. The more I read, the more I felt connected to Emily's story. She wrote about meeting James at a small diner in town. He was kind, funny, and always knew how to make her smile. What started as friendship slowly became love. The diary was filled with memories of evening walks, handwritten letters, and dreams of building a future together. Then everything changed. One entry stopped me cold. Today, James told me he has been drafted into the army. He leaves in 2 weeks. I tried to be strong, but my heart is breaking. As I read on, Emily described the pain of saying goodbye. At first, letters arrived regularly. James wrote about missing her and promised he would come home. Then the letters suddenly stopped. Weeks passed. Months passed. Finally, Emily received devastating news. James had been reported missing during military service overseas. No one knew whether he was alive or dead. Emily refused to give up hope. Year after year, she continued writing in the diary. Every birthday, every Christmas, every New Year, she wrote about waiting for James to return. The final pages were heartbreaking. Her handwriting had become shaky with age. The last entry read, "If anyone ever finds this diary, please know that loving someone is never a waste of time. James, wherever you are, I loved you until my last breath." Tears filled my eyes. For days, I couldn't stop thinking about Emily and James. I decided to investigate. After weeks of searching old newspaper archives and military records, I discovered something unbelievable. James had survived. He had been rescued after being listed as missing. But because of a clerical mistake, the message never reached Emily. Believing she had moved on, James eventually settled in another state. My heart broke. They had spent their entire lives apart because of one simple error. Then I found James's surviving family. His daughter agreed to meet me. When I showed her Emily's diary, she began to cry. She told me that after James passed away, they found an old photograph of a young woman hidden among his belongings. On the back, he had written, "Emily, the love of my life." Neither of them had ever forgotten the other. Later, Emily's diary and James's photograph were placed together in the town's historical museum. Their love story was finally shared with the world. Standing there, looking at their picture, I realized something important. Life doesn't always give us the ending we want, but true love never really disappears. Sometimes it survives for decades, hidden in old photographs, forgotten memories, and dusty diaries behind abandoned walls. And somehow, the old house I bought to heal my broken heart ended up teaching me what real love truly means.